Today on Getting Real with the Housewives, Crystal Minkoff reveals what it was really like to be a newbie housewife. Plus, does she still have those leather pants?
Of course. I've actually bought more pairs because I'm like, they're going to get getting sold out. So anytime I can find them, I do.
Then Sutton Strack tells us what Erika thought when she offered her money after her divorce.
It wasn't like, I wasn't saying, let me write you a check right now. It was like, there comes a time when if you need anything, I'm there for you.
Plus, Lisa Vanderpump accuses Kyle Richards of stirring the pot about Tom and Erika at Andy Cohen's party. We've got that plus so much more in today's Getting Real with the Housewives. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly executive producer Mandy DeCamp. Welcome to Getting Real with the Housewives. Mandy, how you doing?
Good. Excited for this week. Got a whole new round of drama.
So much drama and so much news to get to. So let's kick off with what the ladies have been up to.
Yes. So this is some sad news out of Orange County. Vicki Gunvalson and Steve Lodge have broken up after 2 years after their engagement. Wow. Super sad for her. So one insider told us, and this is kind of crazy, but Steve broke up with Vicki while she was filming the spinoff show in the Berkshires at, of course, we know Dorinda's house. After he told her this, she was traumatized. It ruined her. She didn't want to be at the house anymore. They went on to say, she's still a mess. She's not okay. She's in terrible shape. She still loves him. He moved out of her home. They had not been getting along for a long time. He seemed disinterested in her for a very long time. So, of course, we know that she parted ways with the show back in January 2020 after 14 seasons with the show. And then she's doing that Housewives spinoff right now, which is at Dorinda's house in the Berkshires. It's some of like the, OG Housewives. I'm excited to see that.
So excited.
So our source was unsure if cameras were rolling when the actual breakup happened. So we don't know if we'll get to see it on the show or not. But they said that filming was happening. So they just don't know if cameras were there for that moment. The source tells us that filming started mid-September and lasted 1 to 2 weeks. We know the cast includes Dorinda, Jill Zarin, Vicki Gunvalson, Taylor Armstrong, Eva Marcille, Brandy Glanville, and Phaedra Parks. And, of course, Vicki. I don't know. Are you surprised about this breakup?
I am surprised. They've been together for so long and, a very long engagement. And, it feels like maybe COVID got another one, so many people are spending so much time together and, maybe that's kind of what happened with them. But it seems like based on what our sources told us that she was completely blindsided by all of this. And, I feel like even if cameras weren't rolling when she got the call, they're definitely going to film the aftermath and how she was feeling and things like that. So I'm sure we'll kind of get a little bit of an insight, but I feel so bad for Vicki. I feel like she just wanted that happy ending so badly.
I know. And he was such an update from Brooks. Do you remember him?
Yes.
He was the worst. So I really thought he was good for her. I'm sad.
I am sad too. I mean, should we get her back on OC to see her new dating life now?
I would like that. I think I'm into that. Seeing Vicki go through speed dating or something, that would be amazing.
It would be. You could make a whole new show about that. I would watch. Sign me up. Well, good things have to come to an end, including Cynthia Bailey's run on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. She announced that she is not returning for season 14 of the show, writing on Instagram, after much thought and consideration, I have made the very difficult and heartfelt decision not to return for the next season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Thank you, NBC Universal, Bravo, and Truly Original for over a decade of partnership. I can't wait to see what we do next. Thank you to my Real Housewives of Atlanta castmates for 11 of the most unbelievable years of my life and the most incredible and unforgettable memories. She added, I am so grateful to have had this amazing journey, and I'm anxiously waiting to embark on new adventures. Most importantly, thank you to my fans. I could not have done it without your blessings, love, and support. Without the fans, none of this would be possible. I love and appreciate all of you. It's time to move on to my next chapter, and I look forward to sharing it with all of you. See you guys very soon. Of course, she married Mike Hill back in October of 2020. She joined the Bravo series in season 3 back in 2010. She joined the show as a friend of Nene at first, and she actually first hinted about her exit back in June, removing the show's name from her Instagram bio. Luckily, fans will still get to keep up with her as she is set to appear on Peacock's mashup Real Housewives series, which already filmed in the Turks and Caicos and will be streamed later this year. So we'll definitely get to see her. I mean, were you surprised by this exit?
I was actually, I was. But I will say I always love it when the housewives choose to step away before they get let go.
Yeah.
It's always kind of like, I'm happy to see them go on their own terms. They can make their own statement. It's not weirdness, you know. But yeah, I was totally surprised. I'm like, does she have a spinoff show? I mean, besides the spinoff show that we know about, does she have another reality show in the works?
I wonder because Andy spoke out on his reality show about, or no, I'm sorry, Andy spoke out on his serious show about her, commenting about the exit. And he said this is definitely not the last we'll see of her. So I wonder, like you said, if he is teasing the mashup or if he's teasing something totally different. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But she was always, she always kept it classy, I thought.
She did. Yeah. We'll say I hope she gets another show.
I do too.
All right. So the plot is thickening in Beverly Hills. Again, no shocker here. So after Camille Grammer claimed that she heard rumors about Erika Jayne and Tom Girardi's legal troubles from a fellow housewife, her former co-star Lisa Vanderpump provided the next piece to the puzzle. In an interview with Daily Mail TV, Lisa Vanderpump said, "It could be the person that my husband Ken Todd kicked out of my house." And of course, she's referring to the infamous argument with Kyle Richards over the infamous Puppygate during season 9 of the show. So Vanderpump also shared that she wasn't shocked when she learned that it was Richards who was sharing this information about Erika and Tom. She said, "It didn't surprise me when Camille told me that it was Kyle that had told her the gossip about her supposed friend, Erika Jayne. That's how Kyle works."
Yikes.
Ooh, shady.
Ooh, shady.
Clearly, Kyle and Lisa have not made up from Puppygate. Several years later. So Vanderpump's clarification also comes after Bethenny Frankel recently stated that Erika and Tom's legal issues was actually a secret that many had heard about over the years. Frankel said, "My experience is, especially with the housewives, but really everywhere, if someone's flaunting their money, they don't really have it, particularly on Beverly Hills. There have been a lot of all show and no go girls. The more that they flaunt it and the more they brag about it, usually there's something wrong." So Frankel had said that via her podcast, Just Be. I mean, again, we don't know what's going on exactly with Erika, but I don't, Bethenny has a point. And it's interesting with Beverly Hills because they do have so much money and they all flaunt it. Or do they have money? Or they just flaunt it?
Yeah.
I'm going to start watching it with like a new eye now that I've heard her say this.
Totally. And you thought, like, you would think that Erika, like, I mean, prior to this season had a lot of it. I mean, she lived in a house that had its like own chapel in it and like, you know, $25 million for glam. Like, it's like it was expensive to be her, clearly. So, I mean, yes, but that is so true. Like, if somebody's always talking about the money, do they really have it? And Bethenny does bring up a good point. But like you said, Kyle and Lisa still going at it after all these years.
Going at it.
Well, let's move on to breaking down this week's shows in our Real Talk. So let's get to Beverly Hills first because the drama keeps going and Erika is being Erika again.
Yeah. I mean, what did you think about her apologizing to Sutton?
It was like, well, it was definitely like not a real apology because in her confessional, she's like, I can't say that I hate Sutton. So, I mean, clearly she just probably just wanted to enjoy the time on the boat and just, you know, kind of put it to bed for at least for the moment. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I was surprised that she actually did that.
Yeah, me too. I was shocked. I was like, what is she on right now?
Yeah.
what is happening? Is she drinking?
Right.
Why is she apologizing?
Right. And I think Sutton was just as surprised too and being like, what's going on? Why is she acting like this towards me? And I, you know, you feel kind of bad for Sutton at the end because she like kind of comes to this realization, like we were such good friends before this. And it's a shame that just a couple of questions can ruin a strong friendship. And I guess maybe it wasn't as strong as she thought.
Yeah. And Sutton mentioned yet again this episode that like they all seem afraid of her. Like, what's going on? Why can't we ask questions? That's normal. You know, you ask questions to your friends if there's something unusual or something you want clarification on. And they just walk on eggshells around here.
Yeah, they really do. They do. They treat her completely different than the way that they treated Denise. It's so interesting. Do you really think that Kathy Hilton did background checks on all these ladies?
I love that. And I 100% believe that she did. 100%. If I had her money, I would be doing background checks on like everyone, like people's dogs. I'd be like, let's get a background check.
I love Kathy Hilton. Where has she been all these years?
Yes. All right, well, let's get to Salt Lake City this week. This story is getting a little old, too. The Brooks and Jen comments again. I'm like, okay, we've now hashed it out for 2 episodes. But it was good that Meredith, I thought, showed up at ice fishing and actually confronted Jen about these comments. So what did you think? Would you have shown up, first of all?
I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess so. If she felt like, well, the producers were like, you have to show up. We're making good TV. Like you need to be there. But yes, I feel like, this was the right opportunity to say something to her. I mean, maybe it didn't have to be in front of everybody, but that brought the drama to the whole new level. But she needed to say something. And if she wanted her to stop commenting and stop liking these tweets, she needed to kind of step in. And for Jen to just keep like deny, it's like own up to it. Like if it wasn't you that did it, somebody else did it with maybe your knowledge. Like just admit, I screwed up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do you think someone actually runs her Twitter for her?
They might. But who knows? They might, but I don't think that person is going to be liking things without her knowledge.
Exactly. And even if that was the case, you still apologize.
Yes.
And say that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
I am Team Meredith all the way on this one. Yeah. I thought it was so funny though, that other new housewife, I think her name is also Jenny, was like, oh yeah, someone runs my Twitter too. I'm like,
why?
You're not even like a housewife yet. You're like 2 weeks in.
Seriously. I mean, I thought, what did you think of Jen saying, how do you think my kids feel? It was like record scratch, stop. Like, are you really going there?
Grasping at straws. Yeah. Like she was grasping so hard and I would have run off that ice too. Although the running on the ice was really making me nervous just in general.
That like long walk that they all had to do to get to where they needed to be. It was like a runway on the ice.
It's like very Salt Lake City activities though. I'm into it.
I am into
it. That comment really killed me.
It kind of shows that like Jen is a liar though. I mean, she lies about and tries to like get her way and manipulate her way out of like everything. We saw it with Heather last week too. So I don't know. I mean, this could just be kind of like foreshadowing as to what to come. I mean, I want to kind of just fast forward and get to the arrest, to be honest, but so crazy. What are your thoughts on that new housewife, Jenny? Do you like her?
I don't know yet. I think the jury's still out for me on her. I feel like she was a little too aggressive. Towards Meredith, and she wasn't. It seemed very like she wanted to have a voice. Like, oh shoot, we're on episode 3 or 4, and like I haven't really made my presence known yet. So let me do it in this instance. But it was not the right instance for me. Like she didn't understand the situation enough. It felt like she took the wrong side, in my opinion. So I don't know. What do you think about her?
I agree. I feel like she was like, all right, I need to make a splash. And like, I need to like say something funny or say something to kind of stir the pot a little bit just to get some airtime so people notice me. Yeah, I wasn't really feeling it. But we'll see. Yeah. It's still very early on in the season. I love her kids. Oh my God. I love them so much. Like her daughter. Yeah. The daughter is the cutest thing I've ever seen. So definitely a beautiful family. Still jury out on like whether or not she'll make it to our favorite housewife. I don't know. We'll see. All right.
She's gorgeous,
she is gorgeous. Oh, totally. All right. Well, time for real talk. And we recently caught up with Sutton Strack, who told us how Erika reacted when she offered her money after her divorce. Take a look. When you said that you offered Erika money after her divorce, I mean, what did she say when you offered it to her, and why didn't she want to take it?
Well, no, it wasn't like, I wasn't saying, let me write you a check right now. It was like, if there comes a time when if you need anything, I'm there for you. Mm-hmm. And, she was like, thank you.
Yeah. So she was very appreciative in the moment?
Of course.
Mm-hmm. I mean, going back to that dinner party, did you ever think that was the reaction that you were going to get from her? Because, coming off last season, it seemed like you two were in a good place.
Yes. And I think she got very angry when she wasn't invited to the group meeting. And she was very hurt by that. And that was not my intention at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you regret not asking her to that?
No.
Yeah.
I
mean, in the grand scheme of things, when everything is kind of said and done, and if it is proven that Erika is lying about all of this, how will that make you feel?
No, I mean, I I wasn't meaning like in the legal sense. Right. I just was saying, you know, there were just a few things that I was like, look, this is what I've heard. Mm-hmm. And so I was just bringing that up as a point. I don't need to be vindicated at all. Yeah. That's not my nature. I don't need to be proven right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was just stating facts.
Sure. Does she set a lot of things straight in the reunion? Can you say that?
You are going to have to wait.
So yeah, it seems like, you know, she did it from a good place. You know, she just wanted to be like, if you need a cushion, I'm here and you have it. And, you know, it seems like Erika was appreciative of it at the time, but I don't think she took it.
I'm surprised. I wasn't a huge Sutton. Like, I didn't think too much about her before the season. I'm really into her this season. I love her. I kind of love that she offered her money.
I do too. I love it. Yeah. I love that she calls herself Fancy Drew. I think that's great. So funny. I love
it. We also chatted with Crystal Minkoff, obviously from Housewives of Beverly Hills. Also one of my favorites this season. She's a little more in the background, but when she is there, I love her. So she talked all about being a newbie this season and whether or not she still has those leather pants that Sutton made fun of. So let's hear it.
Do you still have the leather pants?
Of course. I've actually bought more pairs because I'm like, they're getting sold out. So anytime I can find them, I do.
Do you and like Sutton like totally laugh about it now?
Totally. Yeah. She's like, I don't even know where that came from. I'm like, I agree because they're amazing pants.
They are. I would love a pair of great leather pants like that. I love what you said. I was watching an interview with you that you did before the season aired, and that you said that you kind of studied the show coming into this season. I mean, what were you looking for? And was there ever anybody that you were super intimidated by before cameras started rolling?
Yeah. So I've always been like a student. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to approach this like a student. I'm going to take notes, outline. I mean, really, I did it that way. And then I walked on and was like, this is not anything like I thought it would be. Everyone was a little more different than I thought. And I've said this before, so I don't think she'll be mad. I thought Dorit would be more like aloof. Okay. But she was actually super warm. And like the first moment I walked in, very welcoming. I thought Kyle was more out there than I thought. Mm-hmm. She seems like on the show, she's like more, and she's super grounded. Like she's an amazing mom, but like she just like breaks out into dance, like out of nowhere. So that's what I mean. Like she's just like always wants to have fun. And I really appreciate that because it really helped pull it out. So yeah, everyone had sort of a little bit different.
I love that. What were like some of the notes that you wrote down? Like, don't mess with this person.
I would literally write down like how they handled conflict.
Interesting.
You know, but I think the thing that I should have done is really look at myself, how I deal with conflict. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of my new life motto is how do I handle and how do I want to handle conflict better?
I love that. I mean, it seems like they welcomed you with open arms this season. I mean, why do you think that you were so welcomed more than maybe other newcomers?
They actually told me very early. They said, you know, some of the girls said, you know, when someone new comes on, they don't know who they are. They don't know sort of what their approach is going to be. And they're like, we knew immediately you weren't coming out to like get us.
Yeah.
And they said, we really appreciate that. We could tell you're just like a normal person. And so it really helped sort of develop, you know, friendships. And it was really nice. Everyone was quite helpful.
She has the leather pants.
She still has the leather pants, has some more leather pants, and her and Sutton can now laugh about it, which I think is great.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, I think she's a good addition to the show. And I think she's a lot of fun. You know, it was hard for anybody to kind of shine besides Erika and Sutton this season because so much was centered around that. But hopefully next season she'll get a little bit more spotlight.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, speaking of spotlight, let's get to our social spotlight of the week where we discuss which housewife caught our attention on social media. What about you? Which one did yours go to?
Okay, so mine goes to Garcelle. Garcelle tends to retweet some shady comments from fans, which I love. So she retweeted, someone had posted this New York Post article about how Beverly Hills is the best show. Mm-hmm. But the photo at the top was of the cast without Garcelle, and Teddy was in it. So the fan tweeted, why is Teddy in this picture and not Garcelle and Crystal? Do better, New York Post. Mm-hmm. And Garcelle retweeted it and with the reply saying, "Good looking out, Michelle." Michelle was the fan's name. I love that, and I agree. Like, come on, Post. You can't find a more up-to-date picture of the cast.
Honestly, yes. Teddy's not here at all this season. And that must have been like 2 seasons ago because Garcelle was here last season. So yes, do better. Mine was Andy's comment to Cynthia on her post when she said that she was leaving Real Housewives. He said, "But do you know me?" Cynthia says, "Yes, Andy, I can definitely say that I know you now." This has been like a long running joke between the two of them because on Watch What Happens Live a couple years ago, they were saying, which person would you never want to see naked? And Cynthia was like, "Oh, I would never want to see Andy because I don't really know him that well." And Andy's like, "I've known you for 9 years. Like, we know each other." So I guess it's been like a long running joke between the two of them, but it seems like there's no bad blood because you never know, like you said before, you never know if a housewife is leaving on their own or if they're getting the boot, but it seems like this was kind of on her own terms.
It seems like it.
Yeah, I hope so. All right. Well, that's it for this week's episode of Getting Real with the Housewives. Mandy, thank you for running down all things Housewives with me as always.
Thank you, Christina.
All right. For much more on the Housewives, head on over to usmagazine.com and check back at Us Weekly's YouTube channel every Thursday for Getting Real with the Housewives. Keep commenting, keep subscribing. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.